My name is Sandra Hash, and I'm in the Ellettsville Clerk Treasurer. Well, I had been the deputy clerk for 8 years, and I really liked it, and so I just wanted to serve the citizens of Ellettsville, and so I ran for the office. Well, the supervisors come in and out of the office pretty much every day, and that would be police, fire, and utility people. Today we're doing payroll for all the town employees, and lots of emails, and then we have mail come in, and we have bills that we pay. So it's pretty much bookkeeping and payroll, that type of thing. Well, I upgraded our software. We had been on a DOS program for many years, and in 2013 we converted to a program called BSNA, which is Windows based and much more friendly, user friendly and up to date. Well, when the town of Ellettsville changes their boundaries by annexations, then I have to take those into the recorder's office and get them recorded. We also sometimes have people who don't mow their grass, and so if it gets unruly and we contact them and they don't mow it, then the town has to mow it, and then we put a lien on their property, so I have to record that. And then as far as tax distributions, it all comes to us through the county auditor, and then the county treasurer is the one who issues the checks. The auditor gives us the numbers, and then the treasurer issues the checks. So we interact quite often on not necessarily a face-to-face, and that's gotten changed too. I mean, used to I had to take everything in, and now especially since our pandemic, I'm able to email things, and then they certify them and send them back to me stamped and ready to go. So that's been a nice service for me. I think the biggest challenge is just learning to work with different councils and different people. I've had a lot of different council members come and go, and everyone has their own little personality, so it's a challenge sometimes to get to know those personalities and work with them. Overall, the public has not really been, they're pretty understanding, and I don't have a lot of interaction. Unfortunately, when I do, it's probably because they've had a problem and they want some help. So, but we are pretty good about getting back with people, and my department heads are all pretty good about taking care of citizens' concerns, so that's not too big a deal. I like budgeting. It's quite a process to go through, and supervisors all submit their requests, and then my job is to make sure we have the revenue to cover their request. And so they work pretty well. We all work together on that, but that's probably one of my favorite things to do. Mm-hmm. There's so many things. Right now we just renewed our workers' compensation insurance, which requires applications and different things. Our property and liability is renewing in January, so I've been spending a lot of time filling out applications for that, because you always want to get quotes, just to get the best deal. And then the State Board of Accounts changes things for us on a regular basis, and this year the challenge was to start depreciating our assets. And so in order to do that, I had to make sure we had listed everything, which we had a lot of catching up to do on streets and manhole covers and water meters. And so we've done our inventory. We're getting that all put into the computer, and then we'll start the depreciation process. We have to have that done by the end of the year. And then the state has also required a change in our programming. We went from a 3-digit fund number to 4. So we have gotten those corrections to our software company, and we're waiting to get that done, plus the gateway. And the gateway is something the state put for more transparency for citizens, but it just means that we have to insert our financial data into this system so that everyone can see it if they want. And that's been a struggle. We're getting used to it, but we have to submit our annual report through it, our budgets through it. Every month I have to give them upload copies of our bank recs and our outstanding checks and our fund balances. So you have to create all these things working every day, and then you have to report it all to the state monthly. And so it's just a lot. So many things have changed. Well, the main thing is we pay the bills for everyone in town, and we do all the payroll. But the one thing they might not know that I can do is perform marriages. So I don't get called on to do it often, but I have done several through the years, and I don't think everybody knows that I have that capability, and that's kind of one of the fun things. Well, through the budgeting process, we set the tax rate for the property tax. Now the state gives us lots of guidelines, and they only allow us to do a certain amount every year, so we're very governed by the state. But I think that that property tax rate is probably what might affect the the citizens the most. And it's not necessarily that I control that, though. It's just I coordinate that. And we do take citizens' complaints, like I said, on grass and other issues that they might have, so we help them with that. We can't help them with everything, but some. And I think that's all that's coming to mind. I just encourage people to pay attention to their local government. They really affect your lives more than you think, as far as planning and zoning and what's allowed in different areas. And so pay attention. I know the national stuff's on the news all the time, and you have to look a little harder to find out what's going on locally, but it is still pretty important as far as your local taxes and your property rights.